But look what I have. Bam! Let's see if this works. Oh, maybe I should turn that down. It is not. Oh my God, oh no. Oh no. Hello and welcome back to part 15 of the Corvette Video Restoration Diary series. In the last episode, I had the whole dash tore apart because I had to work on the VAT starter enable relay and bypass that thing. And since I had the whole dash torn apart, it's time to put in my stock radio. So this is an original stock radio, got it off of eBay, super excited to install this bad boy. When I say stock, I mean stock-ish. It's not the exact radio that came with the car. It is an original GM radio from back in the day, so it should fit just fine and look way better than any aftermarket thing that I've had in the car thus far. So the first thing I need to do is pull out that $20 cheapy radio that I installed the year before. All right, so now let's get this original radio out. Or not the original radio out, the cheapy radio out. It's a good little radio. It's under $20. The only thing I don't like about it, there's no AM. And it looks like garbage because it's not original, but works pretty well. Okay. All right, so these gobs and gobs of wires. All right, so what do I got going on here? Okay, so I have these three wires, blue, white, and black, and I have blue, white, and black here on the back of my original radio. And this is out of a different car, so it's not exactly out of a Corvette, and I think it's a tiny bit newer. Is there a date on here? There is a date, but you cannot read it. Nothing to read on there. Oh, here we go. It's out of a 92. I went in here and labeled all this stuff because I did not want to gummer it up. So someone got the adapter in here, thank goodness, and didn't cut the original harness. All right, well, I'm done staring. Let's get in here and get some stuff apart, I suppose. All right, one. Okay. All right, so this bundle of wires was connected together and there's no slack in here. So I separated them. So I don't know, I still having a little bit of trouble getting enough slack on this blue wire, because look at that, I need it to come out a little bit further. I might have to pull this back out to tuck these wires around in a different location so I can have plenty of clearance to get it in and out. Still can't get that wire long enough that I need to, but now that I have this top part unplugged and moved out of the way, I can reach through the top and grab these speaker wires. So I'll plug them in that way. All right, still, okay, got it all plugged in except for that one brown wire. I don't know if that's gonna matter or not. There we go, and I can take the foot off the brake. Let's see if the radio works. Nothing. It must need that brown wire. Nothing. Dang it. So, of course, because of C4 stuff, I install the radio and it doesn't turn on. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this thing? Trace the power wires, double check the power wires. There's no power on them. And there was power on them before. Go all the way back to the fuse panel and notice that the fuse is not seating in there properly. And that's why I'm having a problem with the radio turning on.
So I've just been sitting here and fighting this fuse because it's just dirty in there and these things get corroded. I just have the hardest time getting them to stay set or seated properly, because every time I turn the radio on, it pulls too much current and it keeps coming loose again. It's not blowing the fuse, it's just a bad connection. You can even maybe see some tin foil I tried to shove in there to make a better connection. So I'm gonna fish that tin foil out and try some sandpaper.
So what I did to try to fix the problem is get some sandpaper, fold it in half, and basically do a dental floss technique and shove it in there in between the spade connectors, hoping it's just like a little slight corrosion issue. I don't know. Seems to be working better. Now let's go ahead and wire this radio.
I got this spaghetti mess of wires right now, and thank goodness I got this adapter in here because it's telling me what the polarity is on these things. All right, then the other side, dark green. This is negative on the right side. Light green, this is positive on the right side. And these are both front speakers, by the way. And they plug into the middle of the stock radio. Okay, so I've extended this wire a little bit further, much further now, so it's doing better. I had to splice into the original harness. I was gonna use the one that came with it, but it was a tiny bit thinner. So I wanted to use the thickest wires possible. And the rest of these wires are all nice and long now, and it should just all plug right in the way it's supposed to. So I'm taking off these things, these little standoffs. These come off super easy. Just go like that, and it just slides right out. I don't have any screws, I don't have any things on the sides yet, but I'll probably just use something off that adapter that I got from Walmart. Well, the surface is kind of shiny. Shinier than the stock one, probably. I wonder if I can just get the bezel and replace that bezel if that's the same. I don't know. But the radio works. Everything's working right now except for the rear speaker on the left side. I don't know what's going on with it. I have to check everything to see where that issue is at. And I don't know. I'm running out of time, so I'll mess with it later. But it's in and it works. You know, at least it works. So when I turn it on, it works. And the subwoofers will look working. And look, I got a clock now. Yay! So more work to go.
So I'm missing all of the hardware that goes with the stock radio for the C4. This is a stock radio, but it's not for this application. So I had to make some modifications to the Walmart adapter one that I got for the cheapy $20 radio, and that did work. Just had to make some modifications to it.
Okay, so a whole nother day of messing around with it. It's actually just an hour. And now I have mounting brackets on here. So I just took the mounting brackets that were already on the other radio. This side fit perfectly. I just needed a longer screw right here. There's nothing underneath it. They're just kind of machine screws, not really threaded. And this side I had to drill a bunch to move it forward enough, and it's going to attach here at the bottom, so it's going to be wonky, but it will work. I mean, it pretty much just sits in there by itself without even having to need the brackets, but I'm going to put the brackets in. So now I'm going to plug it in and get it hooked up. Unfortunately, my cigarette lighter is on all the time, so I'm going to have to plug this in and out until I figure out, maybe do something like what I did in my Fiero and put another cigarette lighter 12-volt thing here so I can control this from here. I might do that at some point. But I really just want to get this thing put back together right now and drive it again to make sure that I fix my other problem with the ignition and the starter, doing the, I don't know, the remote start relay, whatever the heck the relay is called in there. Whatever, I'm going to put the car together. Oh yeah, and I have bad news with this too. So one of the dang channels seems to be bad on it. The rear speaker on the left side appears to be bad. That is unfortunate, so boo. But the rest of the channels work, so I guess I'll just have 3 speakers. Okay, let's get the whole effect here. I don't have this installed properly yet, because I'll probably mount it here and have this flip on and flip off with the key and in an auxiliary mode, just like how my Fiero is set up. So I'll probably do the same thing. There's a bolt under here, and I'll just figure out a bracket to make something right about here. Don't be out of my way of my knee, and I'll be able to push the buttons. And anyways, so yeah, it works. Check it out. I can't play anything right now because I'm using my phone. Oh, maybe I could, but I haven't even tried. But look what I have. Bam! 1986. Now, this car is an 87. So, I don't know the manufacturing date on my car. It might be 86. So this tape on my car may very well be the same age. Let's see if this works. It's a front-loading cassette. This is weird. Whoa! Oh, maybe I should turn that down. It is not. Oh my God, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God, I get that out of there. I I don't want to pry it out of there. That might break something. No, what? This thing is not new. The guy said he tested everything that I bought it from on eBay. It said everything works. That doesn't work, and now I'm positive then that channel is out. It's not. I didn't break it. Dang it. Come on. All right, I'm going to have to pry that out with a screwdriver.
Well, that's not good. So after doing some prying with a screwdriver and finessing it, I didn't take the radio apart, but thank goodness, I was able to get the cassette out of there. Next time I'm going to put a cheap cassette in there and not a good one in there to test this thing out. Maybe I should do that with it disassembled next time and test it. I do have a problem with the rear channels working. There's supposed to be 4 speakers. Right now, only 3 speakers have sound going to them. And so there's only 1 channel in the back that's working. So I just basically split that 1 channel off. That way it's still getting signal to both channels of the subwoofer. So it's a very hack way to do it. It's not the right way to do it, but it's a temporary solution. So that's how I fixed it for now. Temporarily. The next thing I want to do is add the Bluetooth transmitter power port so that thing will turn on and off with the key.
All right, so what I want to do is install cigarette lighter on the bottom of this little knee pad thing so I can have my Bluetooth receiver mounted in here so I can push buttons of it, when it's in the car, be able to push little buttons on it and have it be out of my way. But this is all foam. So maybe I can just attach it to the carpet, and that might be sturdy enough, really, and just re-glue this. All right, so found a couple 1032s. Mount this thing somewhere around there. Just drill a couple holes in the carpet, and that should be it. Okay, so I'm about to put this knee pad back together. Got my little not OB2 port, but whatever that port is, not an OB2, not an OB1 either. It's something data link something. So I have that right in front of it. So it's gonna look something kind of like that. So now I'm gonna bolt this in. I got my wires ready to go. This wire is going all the way to the fuse box and to the fuse for the radio. So it's just a wire that I already had hooked up with my prior installation of the radio. And I got my ground over here coming from my hood latch. So I got a ground screw on the hood latch over here, like that. So it's screwed in there like that. Bam. Okay, so let's get this in here and then I can wire it up and be done. All right, and here's what it looks like with it installed. I have a different Bluetooth transmitter that I will use. I actually borrowed this out of one of my other vehicles, out of my Fiero. But I just want you to see, like, you know, right now the key is on, that is on, and when I turn the key off, it also shuts off. So the radio and the Bluetooth transmitter will both turn on. It'll automatically connect to my phone. And the nice thing about this kind of transmitter as well is I can skip songs, I can replay songs, and if I really needed to, it does have a baby microphone built into it, so I could use this for talking on the phone as I'm driving. So I do have that wireless capability. Is anyone going to hear me very well? I doubt it. Also has built-in charging ports, so these things are just fantastic. I also have an antenna that I installed behind my radio here because my stock radio antenna is broken and it doesn't move up and down. So it really only has to go from here to inside of here for transmission, and it sounds great. I have great reception, not a lot of static at all. This is almost a near perfect solution for what I have. So when you turn it on, it turns on and makes its little connection. It's fantastic.
That's everything that I wanted to show you for this episode. The radio does work, but I do have that one channel bypassed in the back. Eventually, of course, I'm gonna get that sorted out. But there are other things on the C4 that need to be worked on first. Coming up in future episodes, I'm gonna take a look at my hood alignment. It is all whacked out. One side is sticking out further than the other. What's up with that? I'm gonna finally get some wheel spacers installed so my wheels will finally fit a lot better and look a lot less hack. I have a leak in my heater bypass valve and I need to replace that. And I have to replace the IAC valve, the idle air control injector thing. Something to do with the idle, need to work on that. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see how I got that all sorted out in upcoming episodes. I do have to say thank you so much for hanging out with me on the C4 adventure thus far. Have a fantastic day and happy C4ing.